Okay, let's do the Chapter 2 project. I've already downloaded my files, saved them to my desktop so they're easy to find, and I've opened Access. That's step 1. Step 2 is important to download the Excel file that it mentions. So the Excel is an external data item, and you click on Excel, and then you find the item, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and it's right there, and open and say OK. Then I'm going to walk through the steps. Let's see. The first row contains column headings. So right there, that's the default. Set the location ID to the field to be indexed. So in that next screen, location ID, yes to being indexed and no duplicates. Set location ID field as the primary key. That's on the next screen. So choose primary key, location ID. Import the table with the default name. Okay, that's the default name, location. And finish, and I'm not going to save my imported steps. Close. So that's set. Next, view, this is number 3, view the location table in Design View and change the field size for location ID field to be long integer. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to switch this to be Design View. First thing we need to do is switch this to be Design View. So we need to go back to the Home page and then click Design View. And this is hard to read. Let's see. I'm going to encourage you to print out the instructions so that you can watch them as you follow along. But in order to get this all to show up correctly, I'm going to need to have this be the full screen. So hold on just a second while I make that adjustment. Okay, so I removed the instruction sheet from our breakdown so that we have the full screen to work with for developing the database. I am on step 3, and right in the middle, change the field size for location ID field to long integer. Field size is right here, so if I click here, I get a down arrow, and I'm looking for long integer. Next is saving the table. And I realize that some might be lost, whatever. Yes, okay, good. And then step 4, begin establishing relationships in the database. They can only read from each other if they're connected. So you're going to go to create, you're going to go database tools, relationships, and then right click to show tables. And it wants, let's see, and I'm going to hold down my control key so that I can choose multiple tables at the same time. And I want location, orders, members, and service. Those are the tables I want. And add. And close. And then I'm going to start putting my relationships together. So middle of step 4, create a one-to-many relationship, location table, and orders table. So I'm going to move those closer together so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to grab location and drag it on top of location in orders. It sets up my one-to-many as it says I need to, and I want to enforce referential integrity, and I want to cascade update the related fields. So cascade update and create. And then I can tell me to move this over so we can see this. This is a 1 and this is many, so that worked out beautifully. And it does it on its own. Create a relationship between members and orders, and I'm just going to drag that down here so it's easy for us to see. using mem number field. So I'm going to grab mem number and connect the two. And I'm going to enforce integrity and cascade. In other words, it'll automatically update and create. And let me move this one over so we can see how all of these are connecting. There we go. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing that to show you. And let's see, where was I? I get lost so easily on these instructions. So mem number, got that one. So that was step 5. Now I'm to step 6. Service and orders. Okay. And I'm going to use the service ID. So drag it between those two. Remember, I'm dropping it on top of the matching item. And ensure that I have integrity and cascade and create. Okay, so I have now save and close the relationships window. That finishes number 6. Number 7, create a new query in design view using location, members, orders, and service tables. Okay, so create query in design view. Okay, and location, members, so I'm double clicking so that they pop up, orders, and service. And they're already connected, so I'm all set. And close. Add the following fields to the query in this order. So the first one I want is service date, and that's from the orders table. So I'm going to go to orders and look for service date, and then I want city from the location. From the orders, I want know in party. So orders, number in party, okay. From the services table, I want service date. Did I already have that one? I lost my place. From the services, I want service name. And then first and last name from the members. So first name is first, then last name, and then I'm going to set the criteria in the city field to limit output to Denver. So in the city, the criteria, and I put quotes around text, Denver, and I'm all set. And then I can run it to see if it worked. And Denver is the only one that shows up. Life is good. Back to design view. So that finished number 7. Number 8, display only service dates from 7/1/17 to 6/30/2018. Use the between command. The reason they tell you that is because you can also use greater than and equal to and lesser than and equal to. So you can get funky, but the easiest is with using between. So we go into the criteria and we type between, oops, let's spell it right, between 7/1/2017 and 6/30/2018 and enter. See how it gives it little numbers? It tells it, hey, these are dates. Pretty cool. And then you can run it, and that's within the date. Life is good. Set number in party to 2, so just the number 2 for that one's criteria. And then you're going to sort in ascending order in the service date. So go to sort for service date and ascending. run and save the query with the name Denver Rooms 2 Guests. So run, and then you have to click on the title to have it save. So save, and you're saving it as Denver Rooms 2 Guests. Okay, and ta-da, it exists. Then in Design View, go back to Design View. This is the hardest step of all, by the way. Change the order of the items down here. So this is a little tricky. First, they want you to have first name. See this little gray line that's above all the items? So you're going to click on that. See how it highlights? You have to click on it, but if you try to drag it while you first clicked on it, so if you click and then try to drag, it doesn't always like to drag. So you have to click on that little gray area. Don't touch your mouse, just move off of it for a second and then come back and drag. And same thing, let's see, it wants first name, last name, so if I do that, I'm going to drag that. And then service date, city, number and party, and service name. I'm going to run, and I'm good to go. And I'm going to save the changes, and I'm all set. Now I'm going to copy, this is step 11, copy the Denver Rooms guest query. So I right click, copy, and then paste. And it asks, what do I want to name it? Well, in this case, I want to name it Chicago Rooms 2 Guests. And OK. And I'm going to open the Chicago, double clicking, and then change it to Design View. And here where it has Denver, I'm going to change that to Chicago. So quote, Chicago, end quote. And then I can run it. Oops, what did I do wrong? Chicago. Do I have my dates right? Yeah. Run. What did I get wrong? Oh, I misspelled Chicago. That's an important detail. Now I have two showing, so you have to pay attention to spelling. And then save the query, and you're all set. That's it for this assignment, so then you close the database and submit for grading.